together. So this week I have printer paper and ink. And so I was able to complete the project that I had intended to bring last week. Deborah has 10 folders over there, and in each folder, I wanted to get folks started, if you want one. If you don't want one, please don't take one, because it's better left here for someone that does want it than for you to take and put it in the trash. So, at the very beginning, there is a letter about our annual theme, explaining what it is, explaining the intentionality of it, and giving you some information. You will hear, if you listen to what we call the pre-roll announcements, you will hear the same song a year on the pre-roll announcements, where typically you would hear a different song every week. This year you will hear the same song. There's a reason for that. I give you the lyrics to that song in this packet. I'll just give you a snippet of it. The title of it is In This Room, and it was written by a very dear friend, Linda Webb Kakaba. We all come from different places, different paths, different spaces, bringing so many questions, bringing our pain from different families. Each of us has a story. Stumbling into the light, I see people like you and me in this room. We listen to the truth that sets us free. In this room, we open our hearts. We can clearly see how the path has brought us all right here. We're safe, we're strong, our friends are near, and there is nothing left to fear because we're here in this room. And so that is an intentional, repetitive song every week, because this law of cause and effect is based on intention. And so every week we are setting the intention. We are moving consciousness. This song covers our vision and mission in music. And so every week we are putting that in motion. Every week. Repetition matters. Ask anybody that has been successful in any change process. Repetition matters. Right? Having a thought of change one day and having a different thought about that same change the next day, I'm pretty sure you're going to wind up with chaos rather than a successful change. And so there is a lot of consistency built in by intention. And so all of that is addressed in here. And so I wanted to give everybody those things. The other thing that I gave you in here as resources are the AA promises, the 12 promises of Codependence Anonymous, the principles of science of mind as stated in What We Believe, and an original article written by Reverend Dr. Ernest Holmes entitled What I Believe. And so you can see the differences in the massaged statement of what we believe versus what Ernest Holmes initially said in terms of what I believe, and how things can change. Neither is right nor wrong. They're just slightly different. So it's a place to get educated. And then every week you will get a packet just like you got last week, and it will be dated in the header. Last week was Understanding Our Relationship with the Law of Cause and Effect, Part 1. That was also in the newsletter, if you want to download it from there. And today we're dealing with Understanding Our Relationship with the Law of Cause and Effect, Part 2. And today we're really going to start hitting it head on with how we relate to the language of the first step of recovery. And I want to be really clear that the whole theme this year for us is not recovering from something. It is recovering our authentic self. Right? Now, 12-step recovery typically starts with recovering from something. And then if we are really active in the program and we do what the program offers us to do, we move from recovering from to recovering that authentic self. That's one of the reasons why I'm using it, because these steps are such a brilliant model of metaphysics that we miss the tool part of it. And so the first step, as originally written by Bill W. and Dr. Bob in Alcoholics Anonymous, says, we admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable. Now, for metaphysicians, there might be some words in there that trigger us. I can see it. I can't see the folks online, but I can feel you, and I can see some expressions in the room that just went, wait a minute. I don't think so. Right? And so the study guide for this week invites you into an authentic reaction. When you read it, what's the immediate reaction? To write that down. Because here's the thing about the law of cause and effect. The brilliance of the law of cause and effect is always educating us about what we believe. Okay? Never once have you looked in a mirror and seen someone else's reflection. Unless they're standing behind you. See, I know how y'all are. Okay? But you don't look in a mirror and see somebody else. You see you. The law of cause and effect is responding with laser accuracy to what you believe and making it evident in your experience. And if you think it can't do that differently for each of us, you are so mistaken. Because here's what happens in this room sometimes. There is the talk that I think that I write. There's the talk that I practice. There's the talk that I think I'm going to give. There's the talk that I actually give. And then there's the talk that you hear. And very often, the talk you hear did not come out of my mouth. If I had $5 for every time somebody said to me, I really appreciate when you said blah, 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 and I go back and listen to the recording, I never said it. It didn't come out of my mouth. That's how the law of cause and effect works. It's the beauty of it. It's going to reflect to you what you believe, which may not have anything to do with what's actually happening around you. Ouch. There are times when someone is giving you a gift, and because you have something operating in your consciousness about them or about receiving, that you're offended by it. Right? I have seen people get offended by people giving them the gift of money because they are so deep in their poverty consciousness that they can't receive the money because they're like, how dare you think I need that? I do not suffer from that. Let me be clear. Let me just be really clear. Not my issue. And how do we know what our issue is? Anybody remember that from last week? You just say issue 5 times really fast. That gives you the core of any issue you're dealing with. Yeah, see, and I can tell who does it in their head because they begin like you give them about till 3 and then they're like, oh man. It's a fun little brilliance. So the law of cause and effect is always reflecting back to you. You. Those people you can't stand, welcome to you. Those behaviors that you can't stand, welcome to you. Because see, there is, either we are a bunch of liars or we're still trying to live into our teaching that there's only one. Right? Because we conveniently, when one becomes really painful, you notice how when one becomes painful, we just kind of leap back into separation. Right? When someone does something that is profoundly egregious to your belief system, I'm one, but not with you. Right? The people that are laughing are honest because they recognize it. Oh, yeah. Probably did that on the way here. When somebody pulls out in front of you, do you relate to it like you just pulled out in front of yourself? Or are you mad at them without ever knowing why they did it? I don't know. Maybe your gas pedal's stuck. Maybe your car's in the middle of breaking down. I don't know. But what I know is I've been that person. I am that person in oneness. But what's reflected back to me is not even their behavior. It's my assessment of it. And my assessment of it is based 100% on my belief system, not what they did. Because how often, right, those people that we really love and we really cherish, when they behave badly, it's okay. Right? You have those people where you just, it's okay. They don't know. But the exact same behavior happens in a total stranger and you're ready to eliminate them from planet Earth. Just cause. And you make up a whole story about them. Right? Let somebody park in a handicap spot and you not see their placard. If you want to know how quickly you make up things about other people, just watch that. Instantly, we write a narrative about somebody. We have no factual references. We've done no research. We don't have a clue. That's not about them or where they parked. That is about you and what you think. I'm powerless over alcohol. My life has become unmanageable. Narcotics Anonymous says it this way: I'm powerless over addiction. My life has become unmanageable. Codependence Anonymous says it in a way that might be most accessible to all of us. Buckle up. We admitted we were powerless over others, that our lives had become unmanageable. Anybody think you have power over somebody else? Yeah. Which is amusing that a parent of more than 20 minutes thinks they're have actual power over their child. Because we know we don't, but every once in a while we find ourselves magnetically drawn back into the delusion. I lived there for a long time, 42 years. I am powerless over it, we're not. So the things we get to look at, and then in this week's exercises, I invite you to look at your relationship with the word powerless. The minute you hear it, do you get defended? Do you want to instantly claim all the ways you have power? Right? You get to explore that. And what's that about for you? And then to put it in context. Because the step doesn't say, we admitted we were powerless. That's not what it says. It says we admitted that we were powerless over. Right? But if we react to the word powerless and stop there, we'll never get to the context. We'll never get to the context. And some of us might even think we have power over. And it's important to get honest about that. We might even want power over something or someone. It doesn't make us bad or wrong. It makes us socialized on planet Earth. And this is the thing to get this whole year. I invite you to let go of guilt, shame, and blame. Right? None of us created the human conditioning we were born into. But we're also not bound by it. The law of cause and effect is a law of freedom, but it's also a law of bondage if we don't understand how it works. The same thoughts that free us will bind us if we don't know what we're doing with it. All right? So I'm going to wrap up with the invitation for you to especially spend time this week wrestling with your relationship with the word manageable. Because we are deeply conditioned as human beings to think that we are supposed to manage our own lives. Right? And instantly, some of you are going, yeah, dude. We kind of are. And so you get to wrestle with what that means to you. I'm not suggesting that you go through life in a bliss-ninny state of mind where you pay no attention to anything on planet Earth. That is not what I'm suggesting. What I'm suggesting is that manageability suggests control. And if I'm doing that from the human level, I am trying to manage my life in separation, which is going to be challenging as a spiritual being. The law of cause and effect is not manageable. You cannot control it. You use it, but you don't control it. You are powerless over what it does once you set it in motion. And trying to control it just might make our lives unmanageable. Just might. So I invite you to play with these ideas and these concepts this week. I want to be really clear. There's no right or wrong answer to these exercises. They're yours. This is about you discovering you. Right? Nobody, and I say this in the opening letter, no one is going to monitor you. No one's going to check your homework. Right? As much as I kidded about it when I first got here, I really did not LoJack any of you. I'm not monitoring your comings and goings. You will get out of this year what you put into it. If you find yourself hesitant or scared to invest in an exploration of these steps and traditions, let's talk about that. I am available to you. I got an email from somebody this week who spent a couple of days in the hospital, and at the end of the email they said, I know you're really busy, so I don't expect a response. Here's what I want to say to all of you. You on the other side of the camera, you here in the room. Yes, I'm busy, so what? First, last, always, I am your minister. I am never too busy to be your minister. All of the admin stuff, it'll happen. right? And it'll happen when it happens. But if you are in need or desiring your minister, you just got to call. Call me before you go to the hospital. Call me on your way to the hospital. Call me while you're in the hospital. I will be there if that's what you want. And if you don't, that's okay too, because I am one that I understand that, right? Sometimes when we're not feeling well, the last thing we want is anybody, right? I've had, as many of you know, I've had 16 surgeries in my lifetime. When I am recovering from something, and Deborah will tell you, even the slightest cold, I regress to the age of 4. I start at the age of 4 and regress from there. I am just a big old huge man baby. And so, no, I don't want you coming to my house. I don't even want to be there, much less have to entertain you. Right? I just want my stuffed animal and my TV and to be left alone. So if that's you, great. You can also let me know that something's going on if you want prayer. Some people don't want prayer. I don't get it, but I honor it. Right? Just know, the big thing I want you to take away, I am never too busy to be your minister. Never. I don't care if it's 2 o'clock in the morning. I don't care if it's 5 o'clock in the morning. I don't care. That's what I signed up for. Right? And I have been to therapy, and I bought me some boundaries, and I know how to use them. So there's that too. All right. Okay, so thus ends today's lesson